Hi everybody, I'm Cassandra from Craftably Ever After and welcome to another video. Now friends, today's video sort of developed as the week progressed because I didn't start out thinking I was going to make a video of my top 20 current favorite free patterns. How it started was after last week's video, and I've mentioned this a number of times, every time I'm done with a project, it takes me a while to decide what to work on next. And usually what I end up doing is making some sort of a bear pattern. And this is exactly how my week started. So I'd come across a free bear pattern and I can't remember if one of you tagged me in it on Instagram or if you shared a link with me on email. I can't remember how I came across this pattern, but it was super cute and I really wanted to try it. And it is on the blog of, I think her name is Elisa's Crochet. But I will put it on the screen, and of course everything I mentioned today I will link in the description box below in the order that I talk about it. But this was the cute little bear pattern that I found. I knew I wanted to make it. It's been a while since I've been wanting to make this bear. Finally got around to it when I didn't know what I wanted to do next. I knew it was going to be a fairly quick make, and indeed it was. So as I was busy with this cute pattern, now this pattern, just let me quickly mention, I made with, of course, my favorite rainbow cotton. Well, I use a mixture of rainbow cotton and Friends Cotton 86, which is the sport weight, hobby yarn, 100% cotton, and I use a 2.5 millimeter hook. So as I was busy with this free pattern, I saw a post on Instagram for Jan Schenkel, who is the designer behind the Animal Friends of Pick a Pow patterns. And if you have been here for any amount of time, you know that the Animal Friends of Pick a Pow are my number one top favorite patterns to do. If I only have to choose one designer whose patterns I must make or will be able to make for the rest of my life, if I can only choose one book to work from forever, it will be the Animal Friends of Pick a Pow patterns. I absolutely love her design. It's very much the style of toy that I enjoy making, although I often flip the patterns. She starts from the top, going down and then splitting the legs. I just flip the pattern around. I start with the legs and I work up to, and I end at the top of the head. But anyway, be that as it may, the Animal Friends of Pick a Pow have been for years now my number one favorite patterns to go to. So when I saw that Jan Schenkel brought out another 3 free patterns on the hobby website, I knew immediately I was going to make one of those patterns. So last year, about the same time, she brought out 5 free patterns. This year, she brought out 3 new free patterns. I downloaded them and I made this first one. Now, as I was now working on my second free pattern of the week, I thought maybe this would be a fun idea to share with you guys currently what I see as my top 20 favorite free patterns. They're from all sorts of different websites. Some of them are patterns I've had on my to-do list for a while. Some of them are fairly new patterns that I've come across, but all of them very much my style of amigurumi. And I will show them to you now. So these are not, for the most part, going to be quick market prep type of makes. You guys know what I like making. I don't really do markets, although I do have a small little market I'm participating in December as part of the women's group I'm a part of. But I crochet for the fun of it. I do things that I enjoy, that grabs my attention. I just do what I enjoy, and this is what my whole year has been about. So I thought I'm going to share with you my top 20, and this is only currently because this list changes often. My top 20 current favorite, absolutely free patterns. And the most of these patterns, I think the majority of these patterns are actually downloadable PDFs, which is brilliant. There's many free patterns that you can find on Instagram. or on YouTube tutorials. I have not listed those. So those are a whole separate category that I'm not touching today. The patterns that I'm going to list is that's available to anyone, regardless if you're on social media or not. They are patterns you can get from specific company websites or from designers who's got blogs or websites. Anyway, let me just jump straight into it. And I'm going to take out I've got my phone with me. So if I look down, it's just so that I can keep track of the patterns that I'm talking about, because I cannot remember them all. And I'm going to start with, of course, my 5 current favorite Animal Friends of Pick-a-Pow patterns from Jan Schenkel. They are all on the hobby website that you can download as a PDF for free. And of course, I had to make one of them. And the one I made is this cute guy. He is the little squirrel. Now, I loved how he turned out. Now, in the pattern, you can still make a pom-pom and you can still make him cheeks, but I left that out. I didn't want to add the pom-pom or the cheeks, but I really, really loved how he turned out. And in the pattern, she works with hobby, I think Friends Cotton or Rainbow Cotton 8/6. Of course, I've got loads of the 8/6 in my stash, so I was absolutely thrilled. I didn't use exactly the same colors as she did, but I used a slightly smaller hook. I think she recommends a 2.75. I used a 2.5, which I always use with Rainbow Cotton 8/6. But this guy did not take long at all to make. And let me just tell you, when I finished him and I showed him to my family, and they're like, why is he so chubby? He's like a short, chubby little squirrel. And you know what he reminded me of as I was looking at him last weekend during our family movie night? We have family movie night every Saturday evening. And our movie last week was The Goonies. Now, if you're a child of the 80s, you will know The Goonies. It's a fantastic, fantastic family movie. I loved watching it again. And this squirrel reminded me of Chunk. Now, I'll pop a little picture of Chunk. You'll remember who he was. But I've decided to name this little squirrel Chunk because he reminds me of the character in that movie. I love that movie. If you ever get a chance to watch it or rewatch it, please do. I just appreciated it all over again after watching it last week. But anyway, so this little guy, his name is Chunk, and I really enjoyed making him. Super quick make, to be honest. I did change 1 or 2 things in the little hat, which is a hat and scarf. I added 2 extra rows because as I followed the pattern, it seemed a little short for me. So I'm sure it would fit, I don't know, but I wanted it a bit lower on his head, so I added 2 additional rows. So 1 additional row of half double crochets and 1 additional row of single crochets. And then some other place in the pattern, I can't remember if it's with the ears or the tail, there's it's not a stitch count error because the stitch count is correct, but there is a typo. It says you're supposed to do 5 stitches when you're supposed to do 6, sort of towards the end of the pattern. But that was the only mistake that I picked up. I think it's a typo because, as I say, the final stitch count is correct. But I will forgive Jan Schenkel just about anything. I love her patterns, and the fact that she's putting out these patterns for free is absolutely amazing. So let me run through the 5 that I've added onto my list. I'll pop a photo on the screen as I mention each of them. You will remember that last year I also made Lenny Cat and Madeline the dog. So Lenny Cat, he is number 1 on my list at the moment. Actually, all of these, they're not really in a specific order. The Animal Friends of Pick-a-Pow are at the top, but apart from that, they just in a random order. So it's not first up to 20th, but obviously Pick-a-Pow is always going to be on top of my list. So I've got the Lenny Cat pattern from Hobby. Then I've got Madeline the dog. I loved making this puppy last year. She's such an adorable make. Obviously you can change the colors. You can use the same colors, you can change the colors. I loved making this dog as well. Then Bruno Squirrel, the one that you just saw that I made, who I renamed Chunk. Then the little owl. I cannot even start to think how to pronounce the name of this owl, but this owl is wonderful, and I think I definitely want to try him. Even though there's a lot of color work in it, I still think I will be trying that owl. And then Rita Fox. She's the last one that makes my top 5 free Beaker Pow patterns. The other patterns are lovely as well, but these are the 5 that are my personal favorites that I will either remake or definitely make. They are all on my list. I loved the ones that I've made so far, so I've made 3 of the 5 already, and I think it's not going to be long before I make the owl and the fox. Next on my list, still with hobby, is this adorable doll pattern, and it's called Heather and Tinker. Now this is clearly a Halloween pattern because she's got this little cute little ghost. But if you leave off the ghost and you change the color of her outfit to like red and green and white, she can easily be a Christmas doll. I mean, you can change it to browns and oranges and reds, and she can be an autumn doll. It's just, there's so many things you can do with a pattern if you just change the colors. And I loved it. I couldn't believe this was a free pattern because it's so cute and it's very, very detailed. I think it will work up beautifully. So this doll is definitely one that I'm going to make in a future project. Maybe not with a little ghost, but the doll itself, I absolutely loved it. Then the last one of my hobby patterns that's for free is this cute elf on the shelf. Now I love elf on the shelf. I love elf patterns. This one, and especially because it's worked up in a plush yarn, most of the time I don't work with plush yarns, but this elf on the shelf I think is really, really cute. And I think he would actually work up fairly quickly. So I had to include him. So this is not a Christmas list at all. This is not a specific holiday list. This is just all patterns for any time of the year that I'm eventually going to get to. But anyway, so that rounds up my hobby free pattern list with a cute elf on the shelf. Next we've got lovely craft. Let me just have a look. This pattern that's popping up here, Crochet Skier Bee Nino, that's the name of the pattern. This was shared, the link was shared with me by my good friend Pamela over at Ginger Cat Crochet months ago. And this guy has been very high on my to-do list. And I think sometime during the winter I will have to get to him, because I've been wanting to make him for absolute ages. So this guy definitely on my to make list. Next, still with Lovely Craft, they've got quite a few patterns actually available, and all of these are again PDF downloads. Next is, now obviously with the festive season approaching, I'm sort of jumping straight over Halloween, going into the Christmas season. I love Christmas, my favorite time of year. And this was actually the next pattern that I made this week. And it is a little reindeer pattern. And here we go. This is the cute little pattern. Now this reindeer worked up really, really quickly. I'm actually at the moment busy with a second reindeer. This one, today is Sunday. I don't know what date, but today is Sunday. I made him yesterday on Saturday. Really, really quick make. I really enjoyed him. Now, he was made with my Crochet Society, that Halloween box that we got recently. This brown and this lighter brown, two of the colors from the Halloween box. And it is a, what do we call it? A confection DK. It's one of my favorite acrylic yarns to work with. I absolutely love it. I've got a massive stash of confection DK. I love the feel of it. I love how it works up. And one of those balls, I think there are 33 grams. So one entire ball made this reindeer. So I've got a very small piece of yarn left, but I used a 2.5 millimeter hook. So if you use a bit of a bigger hook, or if you have a looser tension, you might not, one ball might not be enough. But for me, I've got fairly tight tension. and I used a 2.5mm hook. One ball was more than enough for me to finish this cute reindeer. And I think, as I say, I'm busy making another one in Rainbow Cotton 86, and I might try even a third one in some sort of a different yarn. I want to see how big it turns out in a plush yarn, so I might try him in the Hobby Honey Bunny or Parfait Chunky or something like that. But for a DK weight, so the confection DK, it's a DK yarn weight 3. It's a really, really cute size. I really like how he worked up, very quick to make, and a free pattern. I mean, we've got to love it. All right, so after my reindeer, let's see who's next on the list. Oh, another reindeer. Again from Lovely Craft. This is a beautiful girl deer pattern, and it's called Crochet Deer Nanana Free Amigurumi pattern. Lovely. As I say, I love her with the colors, this yellow dress. You can change the dress if you want to make her a Christmas deer. Change it to a red or a green dress. There's so many things how you can adapt something to a specific season. So this one I had to include. It's, you know, based on how the pattern looks, or from the photo that you can see with that yellow dress, it's not meant for any specific season, which is brilliant. So you can make this pattern any time of the year. I thought it was so cute. Next, we're moving to a website that I really enjoy, and I check them regularly because they've got brilliant free patterns and e-books, sort of little booklets with numerous patterns in it for Halloween, and they've got Christmas, Easter. I've spoken about them maybe 2 years ago. I mentioned them, and it is Circulo Yarns. Now, as I say, just check the description box for the pattern links, but do yourself a favor and go to all of their patterns. They've got wonderful patterns, and all of their patterns are PDF downloads. Now, the first one on my list, I couldn't resist this cute scarecrow. Very sweet pattern. I think it would work up really quickly. You know, we are sort of in pumpkin season, Halloween season. I think he is a super cute Halloween make. I had to include him. I love the look of him. The next one is a cute little doll. Now, I love cute small doll patterns. And this one, Flora doll, as you can see with her cute pink little dress. Now, if you change this dress once again to red or green or white, you can make her like a little elf, because she's got those little pointed ears in the pattern. She can be a Christmas elf very easily. Leave everything as it is. I think in the pattern the hair is made with some sort of a glow-in-the-dark yarn. Obviously you don't need to. You can just make it with plain white. Give her a little red dress, and she is one of Santa's elves. Love it. Had to include this one. Then Love Crafts. Now, another favorite designer of mine is Carolyn Brody. She is, what is her designer name? I can't remember. I'll pop it up on the screen. But I have made numerous of her patterns. And this next pattern, I actually cannot believe it's a free pattern. It's a dragon pattern. And I've made this years ago back in South Africa. I actually purchased the pattern on Etsy. And now it's available for free on Love Crafts, and this is beautiful. It works up lovely. Her patterns are absolutely fantastic. So I had to include this dragon pattern. Really, all of her patterns that I've done, really well written patterns. Then these bamboo pop dolls, also from Love Crafts, a PDF download. I've made one of these dolls a few months, probably a year ago now, for one of our hooking up with book projects. I made the little boy, and what I love about this pattern is that you've got a mixture of boys and girls, different outfits, different hairstyles. Absolutely fantastic pattern. It's also made by Jackie from Dear Jackie Stitchery. She's got that yarn cake book out, yarn cake amigurumi book, which I've got. Her patterns are also beautifully written. So this definitely, and since I've already made one of the patterns, I know they work up really beautifully. Highly recommend this pattern. The fact that you get 6 different dolls, different hairstyles, different outfits, I think is I want to say it's a bargain, but I mean it's for free. It's a massive bargain. So definitely had to include this one on the list. Next, still with Love Crafts. They've got fantastic patterns, you guys. So when you have some time, go and roam around on their site as well. But I had to include this little angel bear pattern. Again, my friend Pamela, Ginger Cat Crochet, she has made this bear pattern and it turned out so cute. This bear pattern has been in my pattern library for ages, absolute ages. And you can either get the pattern, I think, from the amigurumi website, and there would have been more amigurumi patterns on this list, because just this week amigurumi announced their new Christmas patterns starting on the 8th of October. So I couldn't list them because they're not available yet, but please head over to the amigurumi website, have a look at this super cute patterns that they will be releasing. I don't know if it's every week for the next couple of weeks, but I think it's starting on the 8th of October. I cannot wait. There's definitely some of those patterns that I will be making before Christmas. So just a note, head over to the amigurumi website within the next week or so. But this little angel bear from amigurumi, but it is on the Love Crafts website, has been on my list forever, it feels like. So I've got to make her very, very soon. Next, where are we now? Still with Love Crafts. They've got fantastic amigurumi pattern, you guys. Please go and have a look. This moose that I am popping up on the screen now, I've made this moose also more than a year ago, and I really liked how it turned out. It was, again, it's Carolyn Brody, same as the dragon pattern. She just writes beautiful patterns, and this is such a cute make for Christmas. I loved how it turned out. I'm not always a fan of a lot of color changes, but in this pattern I think it just, sets this moose pattern apart. This cute little red and green striped legs. I loved it. I did it exactly the same and it turned out beautifully. So this is another pattern I loved making and I will probably make again in the future. Then, of course, I had to include Lauren Espy from A Menagerie of Stitches. Now the pattern, although she's got a lot of free patterns, the pattern I'm including is the Chubby Bunny. I think it's called the Chubby Bunny pattern. And the reason I'm putting the Chubby Bunnies on is because she's got modifications galore for this pattern. She's got a Valentine modification pack, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Christmas, Halloween. There's dozens of different variations of this Chubby Bunny, and I think it's brilliant. I've made this Chubby Bunny. I've made the mummy one, I think last year, and it whips up so quickly, and the fact that you can so easily modify this pattern is absolutely fantastic. So I had to include it. So I'll put the link to the original Chubby Bunny as well as to the general site where you can see all of the different modification packs. Then we're on to pattern number 18, and this is a pattern by Lila Lees. Now she's also got a number of free patterns on her website, but the pattern I chose, because I'm in this festive mood, you guys, I had to include this little Christmas elf. Super cute. I think he will whip up really, really quickly. Most of the free patterns I've done with her, and even her regular patterns, I've loved doing. It's always really well written. She is one of my favorite designers, and this cute little elf, he will work up so cute. He will be so cute in a Christmas tree. If you make him in a smaller yarn, like a cotton, like the sport weight that I normally use, the cotton 8/6, I think he'll actually be a really cute ornament that you can use in your Christmas tree. Sort of let him sit on one of the branches. Super cute. I had to include him. Then number 19, Little Crochet Farm. She has got fantastic patterns. Now the patterns are free on her blog, so unfortunately it's not a PDF download unless you want to buy the pattern from Etsy. But she has got a brilliant current, like a dress up cat bundle. They're all sort of dressed up for Halloween, and she's got such a cute variety. And one of those makes are going to be on my hook very, very soon for a special project coming up. But please go have a look at all of it. She's got a Christmas set of patterns, Santa and an elf and Mrs. Claus, and she's got the Grinch. She's got amazing free patterns on her blog. But specifically, the ones that caught my eye has been the Halloween cat bundle. I think there's now 5 different ones on her website, so I will link them down below. Then the very last one, this is from Little Aqua Girl. She is the designer from the Amigurumi Treasures books, and this last, she has a very recent book, I think out last year, like a fantasy foresty. I can't remember, I'll put the name on the screen. I've got all of her books. She's a wonderful designer. Her patterns are so unique. I mean, if you see a pattern, you will know immediately it's from her. And I included this Noel, the Christmas mouse. I've made him before. I made him last year. I gave it as a gift to one of my colleagues. It sits on her desk permanently throughout the year. Such a quick and cute make. I really loved making this mouse, but I've made quite a few projects from a Little Aqua Girl. Wonderfully, beautifully written patterns. And you guys, that is it. This is my roundup of my current top 20 free, absolutely free patterns. That's very high on my to-do list for, well, it will have to be the next couple of months because I will never get to all of these. Then quickly, you guys, before I end this week's video, well, firstly, I hope you enjoyed the roundup. Tell me, I'm sure many of you have made or seen some of these patterns before. Let me know if you've made some of them. Let me know if there's some patterns that you've never seen before and that you think you might want to try out. Quickly, before we end off, just an update on 2 of our CALs. Whimsical Stitches, the Amigurumi World Tour. Our US book made it to Pam, and she chose the pineapple. So our most recent project choice has been the pineapple. I'm still waiting for our UK recipient to let me know when she's received the book. That should be any day now. But for now, we have the pineapple to keep us busy with. So I look forward to seeing all of your photos. And remember, you can send me photos from the very first project, which was the whale, anything in between. You are welcome to send me your photos for our journal, for our Hello From pages. Then lastly, quick note on the Miffy bunny non-cal. As you can see, my bunnies look exactly the same as they have been for the last couple of weeks. This one, I actually thought perhaps I should be a little cheeky and say that this bunny is inspired by Michelangelo's David statue. But I thought, no, that is pushing it a little bit. She will have a dress with a proper artwork attached to it. But please, I think I'm going to keep it open for the next week because the 1st of October is on Tuesday. I'm not going to do a video in the middle of the week, so you can send your Miffy Bunny art-inspired projects to me up until this coming Friday, which is that going to be 1st, 2nd, 4th or something, 4th of October. So you still have another week to participate. Please, we've got 18 amazing projects so far. So if you still want to join us, please, you're more than welcome to go back a few of my videos. I've got links for the Miffy Bunny patterns. Alright, you guys, that's been it for this week. Thank you for hanging out with me again. You guys know I love chatting to you every week. Let me know in the comments what you're busy with. I look forward to hearing from you as always, you guys. And until I see you in the very next video, stay safe and stay crafty.